Kier Starmer learned nothing from history. More ridiculous reforms are now coming in, and the locals are not happy with his changes. One of them even came back and bit him in the backside. Check out this clip.
I've been a Labour voter my entire life. You have failed to be the opposition. You have failed to ask whether lockdown was functioning.
There's a car just behind. Can we just...
Do you understand?
Can we go in?
Thousands of people have died because you have failed to do your job and ask the real questions. Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, you have failed this country. That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
Marcus Tullius said, "The closer the collapse of the empire, the crazier its laws are." And Kier Starmer is very much running our country into the ground with his new reforms that he conveniently forgot to mention during his campaign. One of the recent changes that sparked outrage is the ban on smoking and alcohol. Following the news of these bans, Jeremy Clarkson jumped on the bandwagon and blasted Kier Starmer for his hidden agenda of turning the United Kingdom into a nanny state. Just like we suspected, as soon as he got into office, he started to put forth his devious plans into motion and showed the full extent of the ridiculousness of what he had in mind all along.
Invite Kier to your pub, Kier Starmer, the Prime Minister?
No, he's banned. He's the first person to be banned. He's actually on a board in the hall. He's banned.
Why? What have you got against him?
Hello? I thought you were running a news operation.
Okay.
He hasn't done much to endear himself to me yet. Well, we'll have a look at farming. It all might turn around, you never know.
As you can see in this clip, Jeremy is not happy about these changes at all, and he has made his displeasure clear. Kier Starmer recently introduced a smoking ban, and the reason? To stabilise the NHS. And Kier Starmer thinks that the public would be such a dunce to believe this pitiful excuse. The entire NHS has been overthrown simply because people have a puff now and again. Truly a political mastermind. Then he ignores the immigration problem that has been destabilising the entire country this entire time. Now, Kier Starmer finds himself on the list of banned individuals from Jeremy's pub, so he will not find a way to sate his thirst there. Now, it seems that Kier Starmer is going to be preemptively kicked out of all the pubs in the United Kingdom. Maybe he can instead have a drink with his Muslim friends that he loves so much. Except he cannot, because the Quran explicitly forbids drinking. But the real reason behind the ban is not because of the smoking ban, but because of the alcohol ban. This will put a lot of pubs out of business. This ban came into effect in certain areas and prohibits the consumption of alcohol in public places. Even possession of an open container that is believed to contain alcohol is grounds for a criminal offence if the £100 fine is not paid. The idea is that the ban could help tackle ongoing issues of antisocial behaviour in the community. But I think Kier Starmer has lost the plot here. In one of our previous videos, I referenced our neighbour from across the pond, the United States. Do you know what they did between 1920 and 1933? They banned alcohol in order to reduce crime and corruption and solve social problems. Did it work well for them? Absolutely not. The result was that there was an explosion of crime. Petty crime became organised crime and alcohol prices went through the roof. Did it stop corruption? No, worsened it. Nothing was gained and much was lost. Granted, our ban on alcohol only applies to drinking on unlicensed premises. But this is the sneaky tactic that Kier Starmer is trying to play here. He takes things one step at a time so as not to anger the public too much. It is just a matter of slowly boiling the lobster. Sure, right now we can drink in licensed pubs, but then they control which pubs to give licenses to, and then we have a problem. This combined with the smoking will ruin all pubs across the United Kingdom. Evidently not a lot of people go to the pub with Kier Starmer that much. Otherwise, he would understand how central these pubs really are for the British public. You see, 2006 saw an indoor smoking ban that covered even private members' clubs. This put a damper on many pubs across the country. Thousands of pubs and clubs had to shut down, and those that were hit the hardest were the traditional boozers and the working men's clubs, because to survive, The rest of the pubs had to become restaurants. At that point, the damage had already been done. We lost a great chunk of community, conversation, debate, humour, and even banter. Banter used to be our national sport other than complaining, and now we are at risk of using it all. Since the 2006 ban, pubs and clubs had to get really creative and spend a good amount of cash to provide smoking shelters. Now, the Labour Party is showing its authoritarian socialist state control instincts and mentality. Now, Kier Starmer said that he is considering banning smoking in pub gardens, or even on the pavement outside of pubs. This will kill off traditional pubs that we love forever. While some applaud this idea, because even I am not above admitting the truth, smoking is not good for your health. But I can assure you that the NHS is not stretched thin because some people choose to smoke. I know that some people who are in support of this ban are non-smokers or even anti-smokers, and some select few will even go after smokers even while they are smoking indoors in compliance with the law. After all, intolerance of others' behaviour and the belief in bans and state control seem to become more and more popular nowadays in the United Kingdom. It is also funny how things are going in this direction. Kier Starmer keeps harping on and on about tolerance, and yet there will be people who go out of their way to reprimand you for smoking, even if you are in compliance with the law. One more time, while the law allows for indoor smoking in pubs, it is only a matter of time before that too is taken away. Right now, the ban on smoking is a popular move, but what we are seeing here is the growing lockdown measures. Right now, they are coming after the pub-goers and smokers, but you may be next on the chopping block. Do you remember how we were told that 28 units of alcohol a week was the safe limit? Now, it is 14, half that. And then the World Health Organization said that there is actually no safe limit. What then? No alcohol at all. Now, the Puritans are on the march, and we need to be controlled for our own good. That is the message Kier Starmer is subtly putting out. There will be an anti-alcohol debate with similar levels of national propaganda we see today. Again, too much alcohol is of course bad for you. As the saying goes, everything in moderation. But are we not forgetting something? What about the immigration problem that has been the source of many cases of antisocial behaviours? Obviously, violence coming from the Islamic community
Tonight,
is not
violence
created
and
by
vitriol
smoking
on the streets of the
or
United
alcohol.
Kingdom, targeting migrants.
What about the drug epidemic that is causing huge social, psychological and physical harm that tear through our country? We lost that, and no one seems to be talking about it. It just goes to show that the Labour government just wants to control activities that are already legal. What about the illegal activities like illegal immigration? They realise that they have no chance and will not control those. And things will not end well. We looked at the United States ban on alcohol already, but let us take a gander at smoking bans in Australia instead. You can still buy illegal packs under the counter, and a packet costs about $35. Just like how the alcohol business has fallen completely into the hands of criminals in the US back in the 20th century, the tobacco business has also fallen into the hands of criminals in Australia today. In Australia, gangs do not care about cocaine anymore because tobacco is just so much more lucrative. This has led to increased violence in Melbourne, which also reflects the same thing happening in the US. With the bans slowly creeping in, we may very well see the same thing happening in the UK. And what if we start to protest against this? What do you think he will call it?
Far-right thuggery.
Because of course, any form of criticism in his eyes has to be some form of racism or Islamophobia. He sure loves throwing that word around. Right now, we have bans on alcohol and smoking in outside spaces. But we also have to contend with online censorship as well. All signs are pointing toward Kier Starmer becoming a dictator. And if we speak out, he would label us as a far-right thug, while he panders to the real criminals living in our country. It is only a matter of time before the noose close around our necks, and we cannot speak up anymore. What he is doing right now is trying to gain some public support by passing these legislations without addressing the real trouble brewing in the United Kingdom. Smoking isn't the only factor, and it certainly is not the biggest factor why the NHS is stretched thin. Alcohol isn't the reason for antisocial behaviour and crimes in the United Kingdom. And that is all I have for you today. Consider sharing this video with your friends and family so that we are all informed of what Kier Starmer is doing behind the curtain, hidden from the public's eyes. We need to voice our concerns and make sure that he has no choice but to listen to us. Remember, we can still vote, so we must use that power for the interest of our beloved country before that power is taken away forever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.